Another Christmas, guys. It's come and gone. Although the celebrations aren't over yet, of course, we have the New Year just around the corner, and I'll actually be celebrating my birthday just after that. So the Christmas tree stays up in this house until after January 8th. I've always been very greedy about our little pine tree sticking around a little bit longer. That all being said, guys, I had a really great Christmas, and I hope you did as well if you were celebrating. I had a really great 3 days where I actually stepped away from work. I stepped away from the internet mostly, and it was the best 3 days I've had in a long time in terms of brainstorming, because I didn't really go on Twitter. I stayed off of Twitter apart from replying and wishing Merry Christmas to a few people that I know there, some of you guys. And I stayed away from my YouTube comments. I only really checked the comments on the Christmas video, and I was very keen to scroll past anything that seemed to carry any sort of heavy negativity or hatred. Honestly, it was a really great reminder of how emotionally affected and mentally affected I get by those things, and how I need to spend a lot less time accidentally stumbling into the dark corners of Twitter, reading some awful hatred posted towards the developer or towards another individual, and how much more time I need to spend scrolling quicker through my YouTube comments to find the good ones, and possibly missing some of the good ones, but altogether avoiding the ones that are just really genuinely carrying a lot of pure hate or just properly trolling, because I felt great the last 3 days. It was fantastic, and it wasn't all the caffeine in the food I consumed either. I was just in a much better place. I started to really think about the categories I wanted to do for my Game of the Year awards this year, and I just felt like I was in a level of clarity and happiness and positivity that I hadn't been in quite some time. In general, 2017 was a really positive year, and I'd like to thank all of you guys for continuing to support the channel. I feel like I don't say thank you enough, and helping me carry that positivity throughout 2017, especially when the last half of the year was dark, man. It's dark in a lot of ways, but even in the gaming industry, where we look to find the light and just, sort of embrace happiness and joy of participating in the medium, there was a lot of darkness in the way that publishers are trying to control certain things. And yeah, so it could be easy to focus on that negativity, easy to want to gravitate towards that. But I think a lot of you guys stuck with me. We kept a PMA. We talked about a lot of awesome games. We played a lot of awesome games. We supported Titanfall 2. We continue to support Titanfall 2. And I'm very much looking forward to doing the Game of the Awards. Wow, it's the caffeine, guys. It's gone. It's worn off, and I'm feeling it right now. But the Game of the Year awards we're going to do is going to continue that tradition of that positivity, and then we'll go right into 2018. And one of the first things I like to do in 2018 is to start talking about some of the games that I'm looking forward to in 2018, and asking you about the games you're looking forward to in 2018. So, man, what'd you guys do? How would your holiday go? How'd your Christmas go for you guys? Like I said, that 3 days, man, I may have taken a lot of notes and brainstormed a lot, but I stayed away from any sort of work stuff. And I played a lot of games with my brother, which was great. We played a lot of PUBG duos together, which was amazing. We had so many great matches. We didn't get a chicken dinner. We were top 5 a couple times, but we're a little bit more aggressive than most people. We'd rather get like 10 or 15 kills than lose. And we had a lot of great matches like that. Played VR, introduced some people to VR for the first time. Michelle's family, her uncle, Michelle's mom got to play for the first time. They were blown away. They played some Pilot Wings, or I should say Ultra Wings as it's called now. And also played some Fortnite with my buddies, played GoldenEye on Christmas Day, a lot of H3 VR in VR, a lot of Taking Hold with my brother. It was just a really great holiday. It was fantastic. Like I said, the state of positivity my mind in was incredible, and I hope a lot of you guys found that as well. What I wanted to do, though, was talk a little bit today with you guys about how I'm going to be handling my Game of the Year stuff. I'm not gonna lay out like one specific Game of the Year, and I'm not really gonna do a traditional Game of the Year list where you're like, best shooter of 2017, best RPG of 2017, best indie game of 2017. No, we're not going to do that and like nominate a bunch of games. I'm actually instead going to do what I see a lot of people doing the last 2 years, actually. I think a lot of individual creators, a lot of outlets have been doing their Game of the Year stuff like this, which I really like, is personalizing it and diversifying it a little bit more. So rather than making these generic lists with these generic genres, especially I think when we live in an industry where we want to see people really break away from specific genres and just do whatever they want to do. Make the coolest and the best game you want to make, and don't worry about it fitting into a specific pool for the sake of marketing. Do what Nier Automata did and be a Nier game and mix as many genres into your game as you possibly can. Have bullet hell sequences and 2D platforming sequences and third-person action fighting sequences. You know, embrace that stuff. So instead, I've picked games that I wanted to talk about, and I've come up with a title, a reason to award those games. For example, I have one. Giant Bomb did this as well. I saw them doing this, and I really want to see more people do this. It was like the best game of 2017 that released before 2017. So rewarding and awarding developers that are supporting their games for an extended period of time, 2-3 years after launch. Especially games that maybe didn't need to have that support, or games that were in a dark place at one time, like Rainbow Six Siege, The Division, that have somehow managed to sort of bring it back. I think that's fantastic. I think that shows extreme dedication. Yes, from a business perspective, I'm sure the publisher wants them to make money, but more so from a developer standpoint, to bring your game out of the dark. That impresses me deeply, and I'm happy to see so many games doing really well in 2017 that came out 2-3 years ago even. So that will be one of the categories for sure. Again, like just, you know, unique design decisions, a lot of the indie games I want to talk about that, you know, did really interesting things or brought an old dead genre back to life potentially. There were some games that were just really fun that didn't even manage to be finished completely or just recently got marked as 1.0. I'm talking about PUBG, of course. You know, that game I think deserves to be talked about. There will be a bunch of other stuff. I know I just teased some of the games I'm going to talk about now, but there will be some games that you probably didn't expect me to talk about. That all being said, there will be an award in that video for Game of the Year. However, I'm not going to be the one picking it because I hate having to boil things down to one game. I love games way too much. I play way too many of them to have to say, here's my #1 game of the year. I've got like 10 games that could be my game of the year. And you guys are always asking me that. You're always putting me on the spot. Tony, it's 3 months into 2017. What's your game of the year? Well, guess what? It's the end of the year now, and I'm putting you all on the spot. I want you guys to vote down in the comment section for your game of the year. In order to do that, I want you to post a separate comment, a comment separately from anything else you might have to say that just says, my game of the year is ... insert title there. That's all you need to do. I'm going to look at all of them. I'm going to pull them together and count them. And depending on how many votes there are, how many of you guys participate, we might do a top 5, a top 3, or just one pick. But again, I'm laying it all on you. So if you feel like you can't boil it down to one game, I completely understand. You don't have to participate. But if you feel like there is absolutely one game that was your game of the year for 2017, please post a comment. My game of the year is, and I'm going to go ahead and use all of those comments. I'm going to probably give it like 2 or 3 days before I do that portion of the video. And then just before the new year, the video is going to go live with all of the awards that I've come up with. And, you know, of course, ending with the game of the year as voted on by the Tony Mo community. I love doing stuff like that because it's cool to see sort of how my content, the direction I've decided to go in the last even like month, has shaped the audience that is going to participate in this sort of a thing. You know, we've gone from being what people have known as a Titanfall channel to many of you realizing that I used to do much more diverse content, and then all of a sudden I'm doing diverse content. So now I'm seeing people are like really excited because they play lots of games, and you guys are sending me, you know, comments on YouTube, on Xbox, on Steam, like, Tony, have you played this? Have you checked this out? I wish you'd talk about this. You know, so it's cool to see you guys all be just as excited about that injection of diversity and see how, again, you know, my audience is sort of altering and being reshaped. Some of you are leaving. I completely understand. You're like, well, I only play shooters. I only play Titanfall 2 still. Titanfall 2, I'm going to play it till the day it dies. If you're not covering Titanfall 2 every day, I'm walking away. That's totally fine. But it brings the opportunity for someone else to step in and say, oh, you play all these different games. Well, I like this. I'm going to hang around for a little bit. Let me pop a seat and grab some popcorn, you know? So yeah, that's cool. I like doing stuff like this, and hopefully you guys will participate. Again, if you can manage to pick one game. I know I can't. And I hope you'll look forward to that Game of the Year awards. I keep wanting to call it the Game of the Awards Year. The Game of the Awards Year. Maybe that's what we'll call it just for the lulz. Probably not. Anywho, I'm going to finish editing this video, go downstairs, eat some food, and recover from the overconsumption of caffeine and sweets and goodness that I had in the last 3 days. Combination of G Fuel, there was Death Wish coffee in there, more coffee in there. AeroPresses are awesome, by the way. Roast beef, cheesecake, more cookies, more cookies, more cookies. So many Christmas cookies. Hopefully you had a killer holiday. Looking forward to the new year. Thank you guys for hanging in here with me. I do want to point out that December was also one of the most financially successful months I've had all year. So we ended on a positive note in more ways than one. I'm going to be using that money to upgrade to a full DSLR setup so I can do more stuff like this, but more importantly, so I can finally put the production value into my bigger project that I've been teasing for so long now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a fantastic week, a fantastic rest of your week. I'll see you for more content throughout the week, and I will see you as we push into the new year.